Well, welcome everyone. My name is Gretchen Wergis. I'm the Distance Learning Program Coordinator here at the College of Optical Sciences. And we're thrilled to have all of you distance learners. To us, are truly, besides not being physically here, you are just like any other student to us. And we want to make sure that you get the most out of your experience with the University of Arizona and here at Wine College of Optical Sciences. So we're going to talk today about all the different things that are available to you, some highlights. Let me actually share my deck here so you can see the agenda. And oops, sorry, excuse me. Here we go. Except I want to share the other screen. Isn't that how that works? Okay, here we go. So here's our agenda. We're gonna do a quick welcome, as we just did actually. We're gonna introduce you to our team. I have Mark Rodriguez and John Koschel here with me. They're gonna introduce themselves, but I also want you to know who else is on our team and where you can go with all of your various questions and needs, both academic and otherwise. And you'll see all the faces and know how to contact them. We'll talk about important dates for the semester, DRC, which we'll explain what that is. We'll hand it over to John to talk about planning your academic program and everything associated with that. We'll talk about the portal we use to administer our classes and in all the ways that you need to use that to interact with both your professor and with me. We'll talk about the class recordings, which are your lectures that you'll be watching online. Homework, testing, the ways that you, even as a distance student, can be involved in on-campus opportunities. We'll go over all the different, where you can get all different kinds of information that's going to be very important to you as a student, and how you can communicate better with your peers in the program, and then we'll open it up for questions. If you have a question at any time during the presentation, just pop those into the chat and we'll be able to see those and to accommodate your questions. All right, so let's jump right in. And I'm going to hand it over to Mark Rodriguez to introduce himself and to talk about our team.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Rodriguez. I am the manager in academic programs. Academic programs is essentially the department on campus that oversees and coordinates the online programs. So we want to take some time to talk to you a little bit about the different people that you'll likely interact with during your time in the program, as well as people who are really going to serve as good resources for you. So Gretchen Wergis, she is the leader and coordinator of our distance learning program. So she is going to be probably your main contact when it comes to, course specific questions. Are you having trouble accessing videos? Are you noticing issues with the quality of videos? Gretchen's going to work with you on things like setting up your exams. If those need to be proctored, and we'll go over that process in just a little bit. So Gretchen's going to be probably your main contact from a week to week or semester to semester basis. I work really closely with Gretchen and oftentimes serve as a backup for her. So if you have anything that you need help with and Gretchen is out of the office, feel free to reach out to me. Gretchen and I both have access to essentially all parts of the online learning platform and D2L, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. So in the event that Gretchen's not here, please feel free to come reach out to me. Aside from working with the online program, I do a lot of the finances in the group. So hiring our graduate research assistants and teaching assistants every semester, managing our scholarship program in the college, the department's budget, as well as some program assessment. And so, also curriculum management. So I'm pretty involved in working with faculty and committees on maintaining our schedule of classes, creating new classes, and that includes online classes. So I work again really closely with Gretchen on that process. If you have any specific questions about, whether class is offered online, feel free to reach out to either one of us. So I kind of have my fingers kind of throughout academic programs. I'm going to go ahead and just go down the list of people you see here on your screen. So Brian Anderson is our interim dean. For those of you who have maybe been with a college a little bit longer or interacted with leadership during the admissions process, you may have interacted with Brian previously. He was the Associate Dean for Graduate Program Studies. And so he's currently shifted and he's serving as our interim dean. He's still in the college, so he is definitely open to talking with students if you needed to. Even though he's really busy right now, feel free to reach out to him. And I'm sure he'd be willing to help in any way he can. Um, Dr. John Koschel, who is on the meeting with us here, he is the Associate Dean now for both graduate and academic affairs. And so I'll let John kind of introduce himself in just a minute, kind of talk to you about what kind of a resource he's going to be for you. I will just say that if you have any technical related questions, whether it's about what classes to take, what am I going to learn in this course, what path should I shift down or go towards for research, John is going to be a really good resource. He is an optical scientist. He teaches classes. He's an instructor. So he's really the technical expert in our group. Um, Becky Fontaine, she is an administrative associate that supports academic programs and development. You may occasionally get an email from her asking for some information. Probably not, but there's a chance. Chanel Lemon is our great senior events coordinator. So she has really involved in coordination of all of our college events and programs, not just within academic programs. She did a lot of the legwork in terms of setting up orientation, which is going on right now um, on campus and online. Gretchen, you've already met. We'll skip down to Jeannie. So Jeannie Candiel is our senior academic advisor, or also referred to as graduate coordinator. So Jeannie really is going to be a really good resource for you when it comes towards planning and any questions you might have about degree completion or requirements. Jeannie's going to be your main contact. So she's going to help make sure that you are meeting all the general program requirements, whether you do the master's thesis or non-thesis route. She'll work with you essentially on all the major administrative milestones through the program. Gretchen, can you go ahead and advance to the next screen?
That is all of here. Let me,
Actually, you know what? That's okay.
okay.
I think for online students,
Okay, good. That's what I thought. I kind
yeah,
of
we've got
down
other
a second.
members of our team who really work in areas that support really the on-campus program. But these are the people that are really going to probably serve as your best resources while you're in the program. Gretchen, as I mentioned, myself, and then Dr. Koschel and Jeannie. So feel free to reach out to us. We are happy to meet with you via Zoom, have a phone conversation. We know that a lot of you are working full time, so we're happy to accommodate off schedule meetings if it's going to be of benefit for you. So
If I could just add too that you're going to get a copy of this PowerPoint presentation. There's a link on every slide to where you can find this information, whether it's on our website or anywhere else. But also all of our email addresses are the red lettering down here at the bottom at arizona.edu. So those are how you can contact us email wise. But if you go to the actual link on that page, there's phone number information as well.
Right. So please, the biggest thing I want to emphasize now is don't reach out, or don't hesitate to reach out if we can help in any way. We know that there are some added obstacles with completing your degree fully online. So we're here to make sure that you have a productive experience in the program, but that you also enjoy it. So again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are more than happy to help. If we don't know the answers, then we'll definitely point you in the right direction.
Absolutely. I'm going to speak very generally about the important dates. Thank you, Mark, for the introductions. But Mark, I'd love for you to add in any additional information that I miss or expand on anything that you think needs it. So this is the basic. At the top, you'll see the basic fall schedule, when classes start, when our holidays are, when final exams are for each for the semester. But some other important dates are listed at the bottom as far as pass fail, switching to pass fail, or getting refunds and all of that. We get these questions a lot, and it's hard to find the information for some reason. So the link is here as well for dates and deadlines. But the withdraw date and all of that is all listed on the link that you'll get as well. Okay. So, Mark, did you want to add anything else about important dates, or is there anything?
Yeah, I think I've gone ahead in the chat and provided a link to the registrar's office dates and deadlines webpage. Just make sure that you bookmark this page and you familiarize yourself with that. Um, Gretchen's got highlighted some of the really major dates and deadlines, but that link that I provided is going to provide you with a full comprehensive link to all of the different deadlines. You've got your common ones: last day to drop, last day to add. But there are other deadlines, right, throughout the semester that might apply to you. Things like, withdrawal deadlines and so forth. So just make
Mark,
sure
can you
that,
speak to the importance of that withdraw designation versus what the other options are?
yeah, sure. So as a graduate student, essentially we know that life happens, and let's say that you're going through the course of a semester where you're realizing you're not going to be able to dedicate as much time as you maybe like, and that it's going to negatively impact your performance in a class. And so keep in mind that good academic standing for a grad student at the university is a minimum of a 3.0 GPA. So if you find that you're really struggling and you're not getting out from a class what you would really like to, or you feel like, your GPA might be jeopardized, you can consider withdrawing from a class. Now, last day to drop from the fall semester um, without a grade of a W is September 21st. So if you were to drop before that deadline, there wouldn't be any indication of that class on your transcript in the future. Um, However, like I said, things happen. And so if you think that you did need to withdraw from a class, you can do that all the way up until November 2nd. And even then, when a grade of W is issued, there's no negative impact really on your transcript or your GPA. So all you'll see is that, you withdrew from a class. And obviously, if there are questions that come up in the future, you can address that however you needed to, if it's for a future employer, a job. So just keep that in mind. You have quite a bit of time to actually withdraw. Even past that deadline, if you look at the full dates and deadlines, I believe you can actually submit a late petition to withdraw through early December. So there is some flexibility within the graduate program and dates and deadlines. If you're coming directly from an undergraduate program, where there might have been a lot more, not really as much flexibility, just know that there are more options, I would say, within the graduate program. Oftentimes there are petitions for different things. Um, if you're ever in a position, for example, where you needed to take some time off from the program, you can take a leave of absence, right, for up to 1 or 2 semesters. It essentially makes it so that when you come back, you can get going. You don't have to reapply to the program. So just keep in mind, I think that there are a number of dates and deadlines. Make sure that you're staying on top of those as you progress through a semester. If you have any questions, or you find yourself in a situation where you might need some guidance from us on, you know, um, next best step for you, feel free to reach out, and we can definitely look at your specific situation and help walk you through that. Another important resource in terms of deadlines is, of course, tuition deadlines. And so that is handled and managed by the bursar's office. And on their website, they've got a list of also different deadlines for the semester. Um, as you probably already know, if you're already registered, you've most likely received a bill for the fall semester. So tuition is technically due the first day of classes. So by the end of that first day, which is next Monday, the 25th. Um, Again, there are different options available. We know that tuition can be quite hefty. And so there are things available like a tuition payment plan. So if you needed to spread that balance out over the course of a number of payments, you can look into enrolling for a payment plan. And more information about that is available on the Bursar's website. And I linked that dates and deadlines um, website in the chat. So I think the biggest message is just be proactive, right? I think that there are usually more solutions available for different situations if we know in advance. And again, if you think that you might need our help kind of going through some of this, feel free to reach out to Gretchen or myself, and we will do the best we can.
Right. And then the next thing for Mark is the DRC accommodations. And I want to speak to this briefly, and then I'll let Mark fill in any additional detail. We understand that there are needs that we all have, especially if you have different abilities where there's you deal with anxiety, you have specific things on learning disabilities or learning challenges. We want you to be able to have accommodations that help you to take tests in a proactive way. So I'll let Mark speak to those resources, but just let me know, and I'll say this as kind of like the end, if this is something you eventually do get certified for or approved for, you just need to let me know so that when I administer your tests, I can make sure those accommodations are applied. Go ahead, Mark.
All right. So as Gretchen mentioned, the DRC, or Disability Resources Center, is a great resources for students who think that they may need some kind of accommodations to help with the learning experience. And so what we see, or first of all, I'll say that if you think that you may benefit from this information or accommodations, definitely look at the website. In the chat, looks like Dr. Koshal went ahead and provided that in the chat. There are steps. There is an application process or review process for official university accommodations. I will say probably one of the biggest accommodations students receive when necessary is extra time for completing exams. And so this is essentially the formal process for getting approved for accommodations. And so what happens is if you go through this process and these accommodations are recognized and approved, each of your instructors will get notified of this, and so that proper accommodations can be provided for you in each of your classes. And so if, again, you want to learn more information about the accommodations process, or you want to go ahead and apply, go ahead and visit that website now. It's best that you do so before classes get going and you have your first set of exams. Anything else you want to add, Dr. Koshal or Gretchen, on that?
It's also important for you to, to let your professor know as well. I mean, they typically do get notified, or somehow they are often the ones that tell me. But I always make sure they're on the same page. We verify we're all on the same page about how much time you get and everything, because we want to make sure that you get what you need. Great. All right, so let's move on. Academic planning. I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Koshal.
Hi, everyone. So you're probably all interested in different courses. I would love to take you off to our course website right now, but it appears our website is down. So we have a wealth of courses, and you should be taking courses that help you with your career or where your career is going. We cover all aspects of the field of optics. So, and in that vein, if you have questions about which courses you should be taking, just reach out here to the academic programs group. That includes me and Jeannie, who is the graduate advisor, and we can get you in the proper course. So as an example, if you are interested in optical design, a sequence of 502 geometrical optics, then you could take the following semester either 503, which is more of a systems course, or you could take aberration theory. And then the second year of your master's, you could take like lens design. And then there are additional courses from there you can take. So we're here to help you on which courses you want to take and to help with your to help ultimately with your career. So we don't have any listed right now. We did in the past, but we found that people really took what they wanted for their career. In that vein too, there are 2 labs required. We have online labs, or we have labs where you actually get a kit sent to you and you can take those. So that you'll be able to take the labs. The online labs are like for image processing. There's also one for in the quantum vein where you're doing some analysis of quantum systems. And so both of those are actually using MATLAB, but you're doing actually lab work associated with. So you're doing computer labs. And then the kit we can send to you. And of course, if you ever want to, you can visit us here and take one of the labs in real in the laboratories here. We've had people do that, but don't feel any inclination to do that. We're in the process of trying to develop more labs, but I don't know how long these are going to take. Where I say develop more labs, I mean online labs or kits that we can send to you. Just as a question, right now, do any of you have questions on like what type of courses you should be taking this upcoming semester? If I don't see anything come in,
Feel free to unmute or use the chat.
yeah. And so, and I would take you to the website, as I said, and we could talk in more detail of the courses. On our course list, we have the most recent syllabus for almost every course. So you can actually see them. Let's check to see if they're working now.
I don't think they are.
Yeah.
I happen to have that page
Oh,
open
it
already.
just popped up for me.
Oh,
So
did
I
it?
think
Okay.
it's working now.
Oh, mine isn't.
Refresh. Do you want me to show something? If you tell me, because I've got all the,
Yeah, go ahead and show the course list.
okay, the graduate class.
I just got to get back there.
Can you see it?
Yeah, so Gretchen, if you can go, I think it's the page before where this PDF is found from. Um, go to, it's the 2 tabs over to your left. Courses, Wyatt. Yeah, that one there. So if you click the drop-down arrow under spring and fall
Okay.
in gray, so that's going to show you a listing of every class that is offered in the program. As Dr. Koshal mentioned, the syllabi are all linked through that red hyperlink. So each course number is in red if you click that, and usually we have the most up-to-date syllabus available online. So if you're thinking about taking different classes, definitely do some research, right? We want to make sure you find one that is most interesting to you.
And can you go back or go up to the top and where is the distance learning?
It's underneath that. So
It's,
so there's another drop-down menu where it also shows classes typically that are offered
There it is.
distance learning.
So these are all the distance learning classes. And you'll see if they're not currently offered in the last column or in which semester they are. One thing that we've just instituted, one of our major classes, Opti 502, which is Optical Design and Instrumentation 1. That's being taught by Professor Felipe Guzman this semester. This is one of the courses that's a prerequisite for a number of others. Like I was saying, this is what I call geometrical optics. We are also going to have this in the spring. Professor Travis Sawyer will be teaching in the spring. And why do I say this is often people who are just taking distance learning, they'll sign up for one course per semester. The other course that's often a prerequisite is the Opti 501, Electromagnetic Waves by Professor Masoud Mansurapur. So this takes you on more of light as a wave type stuff. So you look at Maxwell's equations and how to apply that to get to the wave equation and so forth. So this is a prerequisite for a number of courses in the physical optics domain, while 502 is a prerequisite for many courses in the geometrical optics domain. And so by us offering 502 in both semesters, you could take 501 this semester if there are courses that you wanted to take in that domain. And then you could take 502 next semester if there are courses that you wanted to take in that domain, especially if you're like taking 2 courses in a given semester. So we're just providing a level of redundancy so that you're not restricted in any given semester. So as I said, this lists our courses that have been offered for distance. And then if we go up to the very top and look under course schedules down below, yeah, right there, and go to fall 2025 and go to your graduate classes. Here are the actual classes that we're offering this semester. Some are taught every other year. Sometimes we take a break on a course. So these are the actual ones that we're offering this semester. And if you look in the second column, it says DL, and that indicates that it's for distance learning so that there will be an online section, or we plan for there to be an online section. So this is how we run everything here. But we can, as you've maybe heard, we can cancel some classes because if we don't get a high enough number of students in the distance learning, we will cancel it for potentially, we could bring in one of the other courses. We typically don't do that, but we just then focus on the courses that have enough higher number of students in them. So you should start looking at the courses that you want to take and try to, you can determine if they're taught on a every semester basis, like 502. That's the only class except for optics colloquium. And
A question in the chat, John, about
okay,
521 and
so
502.
you're doing the optomechanics track and planning to start with one class this semester. Would it be best take 521 this semester instead of Opti 502? So you could start with 521. It doesn't have any prerequisites per my recollection,
Yeah,
right?
I was just thinking because I think 502 was, as you said, the one with a lot of, what's it called? It's a
A
prerequisite
lot
for
of
a lot
other.
of classes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of other classes, especially 502 for the ones in the geometrical optics. So that's your lens design. So if you wanted to take that next year at this time, you would have to have had 502 done. Since we only used to have it once per year. Now we have it twice per year. Well, at least twice per year this academic year. So you could go with 521. I can't remember what the prerequisites for like virtually any of our class. I don't think 521 has any.
It said
However,
optical systems familiarity. Sorry, I have it
okay,
pinned to my
okay,
board.
okay. So if you understand some basic concepts, because concepts that are in 502 will come up, okay?
Mhm.
Like what is the focal length of a lens and how is that potentially affected? Can you keep the focal length at the proper position with the optomechanics? Um, so those kind of terms might come up. So where we're saying familiarity, it's not really the focus of the course, but understanding some of the terminology is good for a better understanding of what's going on in 521. 521 is more of a, like say, a mechanical engineering applied to optics. Okay. So if you feel confident that that you're okay, one of the best areas, if you guys are familiar with the field guides of SPIE, then you can use those to brush up on some of the familiarity. And one of the field guides by John Grievenkamp is basically, it's based on this 502 course. Professor John Grievenkamp, he was a professor here till he retired and then passed away a couple years ago. So what am I trying to say is just having that little familiarity, having access to the field guide. As students here, you have access to all the field guides um, because we have basically a site license to all the SPI publications. You just need to get yourself set up with our VPN. So the VPN is a virtual private network. It makes it appear like you're directly here on campus when you use the VPN. And you use your net ID credentials to get signed in to the VPN. And then you can go to SPI's website and read all their books for free and download a lot of the material and papers too.
Yeah, I think I was able to do that
Okay.
with my computer. However, I don't think I needed a VPN. I should check the PDF, but it just asked for my student ID.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. And that
Oh
helps.
yeah, there are two ways to get into there. You can go in through the library, then and ask for your student ID, or if you set up your computer with VPN, then you don't have to give your credentials.
Ah, okay. Um, and just confirming Opti 521 is not going to be in the spring. It's
It
just
will
fall.
not be in the spring.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All of our classes are taught once per year, except we're now changing with 502 and also the optics colloquium, which is also a distance learning course. And someone asked, are there any summer classes? No. You can get an independent study with a professor. That's $5.99. You have to talk to the professor beforehand and see if they agree to do an independent study with you. Per my recollection, with a master's degree, you can have up to 6 units of independent study for your degree. And the independent study is you're just essentially doing a course, but you're doing it individually. And the course is you set up what's going to be done in the course with the professor. And so you could go off and do this. However, you do not get an ABC. You don't get a letter grade. You get a pass fail grade for these courses, and it's limited to the number of units you can take. If you're a certificate, I think it's limited to 1. Don't hold me to any of these. I have to go and look, and the website it's still down for me here.
It might, John, if I can just say, I think for masters, it might only be 3
It's
independent
3.
study.
Okay, the
We'll have to
PhD is
check
6.
the handbook, which the website
Yeah.
is down right now.
So, the graduate student handbook, Mark put that link in.
You'll also get it as part of the follow-up, so don't worry if you
Okay.
can't copy it and paste it into something else right
Yeah,
now.
I deleted it because it didn't actually directly paste correctly. It included a Google.
You'll get all the links in the follow-up email, I promise.
Okay.
Um,
That is going to be, though, the handbook. Definitely bookmark that. All of the academic requirements, milestones are going to be listed in the handbook. And so it's almost 100 pages. It's really structured in a nice way. It's broken down between PhD and master's. It's got hyperlinks built in. So it's got all of the academic requirements outlined, things like how you prep for your defense, um, lab course options, things like that. So um, pretty much anything policy-wise or requirement-wise can be found in the handbook. So definitely make sure you're referring to that. You know, as I mentioned, we are definitely here to help you through the program. But that handbook really is going to probably answer about 75 of the questions that we receive. And it's available to you, 24/7. So just make good use out of that. We put a lot of work into creating that over the past few years. And, we do our best to try and keep it updated. So Gretchen will include the direct link for that in the follow-up email. And it's going to cover a lot of the things that we're talking about right now in terms of academic requirements and courses.
And I will add to that, we will be doing these calls monthly, and we'll usually have a different focus for each one. So you'll see another invitation in September for another one of these. So we can get into more detail in anything that you want to talk about, especially once you start jumping in and figuring stuff out. You'll have one every single month, every single semester. So we want to make sure if there's a topic you'd love to see covered, we want to make sure that we give you those deep dives. So.
And there's one more thing I wanted to add. Nate asked if there were summer classes. Dr. Kosho confirmed we don't offer any summer classes. From my experience, what I've heard is it's very difficult to consolidate these courses into either a 3 or 5 week course format. With that being said, if you're in the standard master's program with no track, as you probably know, it's a very open curriculum. So you can essentially take any courses you want to fulfill course requirements. Of course, you've got to take into account prereqs, but there are some departments on campus that do offer summer classes. I think some in engineering and physics do. So essentially, you can take other graduate level courses and have them count towards your master's degree requirements as long as your faculty advisor is approving that. So generally, as long as it's related to your studies, your area of interest, that definitely is usually not a problem. So just keep that in mind. If there is a course that you find um, that you're interested in, feel free to check with our office before the summer, before you decide to enroll.
Great, thank you. All right, next we're going to take a look at D2L, which is the online, the platform we use online for all of our classes. If you haven't used it before, I'm going to just do a quick overview so you know how it works and what you'll see there. Your professors will also likely show you some different stuff because some of them organize it a little bit differently. But once you get into D2L, and I actually sent an email out, I think it was 2 days ago, encouraging everybody to log in today. As soon as you get off of here, log in and make sure everything works properly, because I don't want you to be scrambling on Monday trying to watch classes and trying to figure out if your net ID is working properly. Just get in there and let me know immediately if we need to help you get that fixed. Okay, so when you log into D2L with your credentials, you will see all the courses that you personally are registered for. Obviously, this is my D2L, so I have all of the classes. You won't see all of these. You will probably only see 1 or 2, depending on your workload. And when you go into each of the classes, you immediately come in, there's an announcement page. Most professors will talk about homework. They'll talk about the post about final exams. Some professors don't post on here at all. I'll warn you right now. You really just need to do your best to learn your professor's style of communication. Some of them have their own website that they use. I know Masood Mansouripour, who teaches 501, he has his own website. But if there's anything posted that's a general message to the class, I post in here sometimes. If there's an issue with a recording or I want to send a message to everybody in a specific class, I will do it this way. The main things that you're going to need in here, your assignments, if they post them in your homework assignments, and I'm going to talk specifically about homework in a moment, but you'll find them here. There's ops discussion boards, there's quizzes. Some professors, and again, we'll talk about more specifically about exams and testing. Some professors will post their quizzes or tests in D2L. Again, we'll talk about that. If you want to contact somebody else in your class, you'll see the class list is there and has all of their contact information. So if you need to set up discussion groups or study groups or whatever you need, you can access your class list there. UA Tools, this is going to be the place that you're going to come for your recorded lectures. So you'll come into UA Tools, go to Panopto Video. For every single class, this is where your lectures will be shown. And this happens to be one where the classes are already populated because it's kind of a long story. But I think this is Judy Sue, is it not? Oh, no. I can't remember. 527? No. Doesn't matter. You're on by. Who knows? It's one of our professors. And she's going to be utilizing videos from a previous semester. So you'll be able to click on the video, watch it. You'll be able to, and I don't know how dynamic this will be on your end, but you'll be able to see the lecture as well as there's a transcript. If it'll transcribe the whole lecture for you, and you'll be able to see that on the left-hand side. And you'll be able to see all the information that was recorded as part of that course. If there is ever a time when you go in here and the recording is not there when it should be, and when it should be is within, typically it's posted within a few minutes, but at most I've seen it is like 20 minutes where the server takes to post it from Panopto to D2L. If you go in there within like a half an hour after the class is over and you don't see it there, please reach out to me. Don't wait. Because sometimes something happened with the student. We have students who work for us as recorders. Something may have glitched and I don't know about it right away, or what. There's a million different reasons why that could be. Let me know as soon as possible and I will let you know if there's a known issue, or I'll fix it immediately. But classes again are posted. I would give it at least let's give it at least an hour. And if it's not there within the hour, let me know. What else did I want to say about that? There was one other thing I was going to say about that. Nope, I don't remember. It's gone. So let me know, again, if there's an issue with a sound quality, with anything at all that you feel like hinders your ability to learn, let me know, because I will give that feedback to our recorders. But you'll see every single course, or sorry, every single lecture will be added every week. You cannot watch it live. We are going to be experimenting a little bit with showing those live. Some of the other, I know engineering will do their distance courses live, but for the most part, watch it on your own time, in your own time zone, in your own environment as you are able to.
Gretchen, can you go back to the D2L?
Yep. Where is my homepage? Well, must have posted. There we go.
And just go into one of the classes.
Okay.
I also just wanted to say content, the second one, that's where lectures and other things will be posted. So the lecture slides often. Okay, not everyone does that, and other things for the course.
Thank you. Oh, is there a question? Oh, that was from John. Okay. Great. Oh yeah, that was Takashima. Thank you.
Hey Gretchen, are recordings downloadable for students, or do you have to
It
watch on tape?
depends. Because some professors are under different grants and awards and contracts and all of that. For example, Ron Driggers does a lot with the Department of Defense. So if for whatever reason their information is proprietary and can't be shared, you won't be able to download it. But you can get special permission from the professor themselves. So if they give you permission, just shoot me an email copying me on their okaying that, and I can give you access to download it. We can also give you permission on like one-off situations, like you're going to be traveling maybe without Wi-Fi. We've had students who went down to work on the telescopes in Peru, and they weren't able to have a consistent Wi-Fi connection. So we let them download the lectures before they went. So yeah, let us know those situations, or you're going to be traveling, you're going to be on a plane for 8 hours, you know, and you want to be able to watch your lectures. We can give special permissions for that. You just need to get it okayed by your professor. And of course, you're just agreeing not to share it with anybody outside the university. Okay, so that's the basic gist of what D2L as far as recordings and basic information. There's a bunch of other things that could be in there that your professor will show you. If there's going to be something or important information they're going to upload, they're going to tell you about it. Just be sure to, again, you're going to have to learn your professor's accommodations or their setup, their website, whatever it is. But most of them use D2L for that.
And I just want to add, so this summer, I believe it was rebranded to officially be called Brightspace, although you see the wording D2L pretty much everywhere when you, even in the
I know, I
link.
need to train
So
myself out of that.
if you see the term Brightspace, just understand it's the same thing. It's D2L. I've heard some people on campus start using Brightspace. Most people in the college here are still calling it D2L,
Yeah.
but just be aware that it is the same thing.
Yeah. If for whatever reason, I think it happened maybe once last semester where D2L was down for a very short period of time, it would be here on this first page, like telling you like it's a known issue. But if you're having specific issues and you don't see anything, or you can't access it at all, or you don't see a specific course listed here in your main my course view, let me know and we'll just make sure. It could have just been an oversight on the class list, but we can make sure that you have access. Okay, let me stop sharing and move on to the next thing. This is just going to be quick. I want you to understand what goes into recording so that you know what our process looks like. The picture you see on your screen right now is just a screen capture from a big screen that's in the control room that shows the person that's recording everything that is is able to be shown to our at-home audience. So they'll be able to see what's on every single camera. Both of our main rooms that we use for recording have multiple cameras where there's overhead cameras, there's cameras from the back. We have a document camera. You'll notice here this camera 3 is actually shooting down at the desk. Professors will use that to show demos or books that they're using or anything like bring in little gadgets and things that they want to show. We want to make sure that our distance learners can see all of it. So we work very closely with the professors to know if they're going to need to show anything up close for our folks at home. This is just a picture of the students in the audience and different things that are available. If the professor is speaking to the board or to the screen, they'll use a laser pointer. We will show you that. So everything that they're doing in class, we want it to be as if you are there as much as humanly possible. So our students that are sitting there at that are hired by us, they're interviewed, they're great, conscientious students. We have got a bunch of new ones this semester, but their job is to literally sit there and to watch the class and I always tell them follow the action. So whatever's going on, their job is to make sure it's on screen so that you can see it. If there's ever an issue where that's not the case, I want to know about it, and not to get anybody in trouble, but to make sure that we fix it for the next time. We know that things go wrong, and we want to make sure that, once in a great while, something will happen where a microphone fails during a lecture, or the file got corrupted. I think that happened once, maybe last semester. So if those things happen, professors are great about either sharing a recording from a previous semester or re-recording something on a Friday. There's lots of things we can do, but we will definitely make sure that you get the information however we can. And this is just to show you, we use the tool we use in Panopto. We can see exactly what's going to be recorded. So when we choose from that screen, we know where it's going to be saved, all of that, which would be one of the rare occasions where you can't see it because it got saved in the wrong space. Super easy to move it into the right course. So just a really quick overview. I'd like you to know what we're using and what it looks like to us, and the tools that we use to capture. Homework, I already talked about this. This is going to vary by your professor, and how you hand it in is likely going to change based on your professor and your TA. Just ask if they don't make it perfectly clear how they want that handed in, because you're not handing them a physical piece of paper. They're all really good. They know that they have distance students, so they're really good typically about saying, oh, for our students learning from other locations, here's how I want you to submit that. If you don't get that information or something's unclear, please let me know. In general, communicating with professors, if you're having trouble having them respond to you, or there's some kind of communication error, please let me know, and I will be sure to serve as your interim person to get that information communicated properly. But please be sure to use your voice, advocate for yourself as a student. And if you're not sure where to submit something, ask them, ask me, ask your TA. You'll have their TA's contact information so that we can make sure that gets in on time and you get your grades properly. Quizzes and exams. I want to get through these next few slides pretty quickly, but this is a really important issue, so I may take a few. So if you have questions, please put them into the chat, and we'll make sure to answer them, so that if you do have to skip out, we'll answer them and make sure it's recorded for you if you have to leave. Quizzes and exams. Okay, here's the thing. First, I want to say everybody who takes our courses, who takes any class on campus, you are beholden to the academic integrity policy, which is, I'll send you the link on that. But this is your education. This is education. Obviously, you're going to need to apply to your careers. So please, obviously, you're going to follow that code of integrity so that you're learning the information that you need to succeed in your chosen field. And that being said, when you take a quiz or an exam as a distance learner, it's professor specific whether or not you use a proctor or not. If you do not use a proctor, or sorry, let me do proctors first. If you use a proctor, you're going, and I will send a form out that'll be part of the follow-up email I send to this session. You will need to find someone who can, it could be a coworker. We ask that it not be a family member, but it could be a coworker, it could be your boss, it could be a library, somebody in your local library. There are also services that you can use. Obviously some of those do cost money. That's going to be up to you. If you can't find one, we can try and help you find one. There are some options through the U of A where they can proctor remotely. But if you are using a proctor, the exams get sent to your proctor with the parameters for the exam, how much time you get, what equipment you're allowed to have, whether it's a calculator, a formula sheet, whatever is designated by the professor themselves. And then the proctor will submit that exam. You give it back to the proctor. The proctor sends it to me, and I give it to the professor. If the professor chooses not to have a proctor, then that's when that academic integrity especially applies, because you're going to be expected to receive that exam on your own, to follow the parameters as given by the professor, whether it's open notes, closed notes, open book, open internet, whatever that is or not. You're going to be asked to follow those parameters, and then you'll set up a time with me when you want to take that exam that is based on your time zone. I actually have, even though I'm in Arizona, I can, we send exams to Taiwan digitally, and we can accommodate wherever it is that you are and when you need to take it according to your schedule during the day. You'll take the exam, you'll have to scan it, or sometimes people even take cell phone pictures. Our cell phone cameras are great quality nowadays. You can take a pictures of each page with your cell phone and send it back to me. The email that you receive will tell you exactly what I need from you, which is really, I need to make sure your name and your course and your page numbers are on there clearly, so we can make sure that your exams get submitted properly to your professor. And all of that other stuff we've talked about, your time limits, if you have DCR, if you have 75 minutes, the professor's giving you, you'll get 1.5 times that for sometimes twice that, depending on the exam, if you have DRC accommodations. The graded exams, whether or not the professor wants me to send that back to you, most of them do. Well, you'll get a scanned copy sent to your email that shows exactly how it was graded by the TA or the professor, so that you can see how your grade was calculated. If you are local, if you are in Tucson, or if you are in Tucson for a weekend or a week, I'm sorry, and you want to come in and take the exam on campus, that's totally fine. You just need to let me know, and I make sure that's okay with the professor, which it almost always is, and you're welcome to come take it in person. Yeah, I don't see, were there any questions? No, great. You're going to see an email from me very soon about proctors, so keep an eye out for that. And the form gives all of the specifics of what you need to find a proctor. Okay, involvement in on-campus activities. You're about to see probably mid-September, if you haven't already seen some information come from Chanel or one of the other members of our team about the Industrial Affiliates Conference, which is happening October 6th through 8th. We have a ton of great industry representatives come on campus and give talks and do hiring events. We want you to be part of that. So we live stream those talks. We will give you opportunities if you want to sign up for one-on-ones with any of these industrial affiliates. We encourage you to do that. We want you to be able to have access to these great resources. Colloquium is something we do every Thursday, starting September 4th is our first one. 3:45 Arizona time. They're an hour. We have had Nobel laureates. There are some really, really cool industry specific presentations that people come in and do. We've had somebody come in and talk about the lighting and the optics used in the dome. Is it called the orb? What's the thing? The sphere. The sphere. That's what it's called. I found it eventually. The sphere in Las Vegas. Like, there's some really cool presentations that get done. Those are available to you every Thursday. That's also, if you're doing a 595A, that's the the presentations you'd be asked to watch every week and to do a little write-up on. So you can get credit for it if you want to do it. But if not, you can also just do it casually and watch those on your own time. If there's ever something you see that's going on, yes, image, all kinds of medical and space applications, it's really cool stuff. If there's something else going on campus that you see or you hear about or you get an email about or you see in a newsletter and you would love to have it recorded, let me know. And if we can make that happen, we will do that for you. Important resources. So let me stop this sharing and share this instead. While I'm finding this, they talked about our graduate resource guide. Let me go to our page here. Okay, let me share this real quick. Hopefully it will cooperate. So on our main website, which is just optics.arizona.edu, graduate student resources. There's so much great stuff here. I'll talk about the student handbook in a second, and of course, John and Mark, if you have anything to add. But there's, all the software that's available to you. There's specific information for distance learning, like prereqs and everything. But that graduate student handbook is kind of gonna be your guide to everything. If there's a question you have and you're not getting it quickly enough, chances are you're going to be able to find it yourself in the graduate student resource handbook. Mark, did you want to add anything, any specifics in there that you would recommend?
No, I just think I think if you look at the table of contents, you click on each of those hyperlinks, it'll take you exactly right down to where you need to be. So if you go down to the next page, it should go to masters. Keep going. Yeah, so starting there, so it's on page 65, and it's broken down by all of these subtopics. So if you had questions on independent study, here we've got a listing of all the different tracks. I know a lot of you have already come into the program with a declared track. That is an option, but also keep in mind that there's flexibility. So if you decide that, for one, you want to revert back into the standard master's program, you want to let us know, and we can work with you on changing that. Or vice versa, if you are in the standard program now with no track and you would like to declare a track, we can help get that added for you. So lots of really helpful information on here. As you have seen during this meeting, it's even really helpful for us to refer to because a lot of the policies are very, very strict and specific. And so just keep that in mind. That's a graduate student handbook. It'll always be available when the web is online. Or you can download the PDF as well to your computer. Just keep in mind that we do make occasional updates, so make sure that if you're looking at something, you confirm with what is online to make sure that it's up to date and accurate.
Yeah, great. Graduate forms, so all those things we talked about, where appeals and waivers and requests for different things, surveys, etc., PhD program information. Those are all here in your graduate forms. For new grads, click happy, there we go. New grad students, there's all kinds of information there. Travel to Tucson, there's specific thing about distance learning. And I'm actually working on another page that goes into more detail for distance learners, which we'll hopefully have here in the next few weeks. But if there's something that you can't find here, please let us know. We'll make sure you get that information. I can't stress that enough. Okay, let me go back to mine. We're almost done with the deck, and then we'll open it up for questions. We showed you the course schedule. I showed you the forms on our, I closed that and I should have stayed there. Let me go back. The colloquium, like all the different events. I mentioned the industrial affiliates. You can find all of that on our page under events. Here's the colloquium series. You can see who's coming up, what they're going to talk about. And the industrial affiliates is going to be under here. All that, there's pictures, there's all kinds of community activities, and there's our calendar of events coming up. So there's something you're interested in, you want to travel for it, or you're like, hey, I would really love to see that. Can you film it or whatever? Please, please, please reach out and let me know. Earlier, we showed you some information about our leadership. So we've got our different teams. You've got your faculty web pages are all here. For those of you that were able to be part of our graduate orientation that we live streamed this morning, Travis Sawyer showed the cool tool that they have created to see the different research areas of all the different faculty. There's tons of information there for you. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to share before we open up for questions, that's not what I want, of course, is other ways that you can communicate with fellow students. I showed you the different discussion areas within D2L. We've also got a Discord channel. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's actually used a lot by gamers. But we've got one, because of course we've got a lot of gamers within, but this is all student driven. There are no professors. I think I'm the only staff person that's allowed. And yeah, don't look, I'm not here. I'll put it on the chess channel so you can't see anything or dancing. But there's a lot of like fun activity-based chat little sections here. But what you're also going to see that's even more useful to you is, I'm not going to click on it, don't worry about that. Each course has its own channel within the Discord, so that if you want to know, like, hey, I'm thinking about taking 512R or 512L. Can you, what's that course load like? You know, you can scroll through previous conversations, you can start a new conversation, and you can look at that. There's also, we have a specific sub-channel specifically for distance learners. It's down here somewhere. Distance students general, we've got PhD, masters. So there's all kinds of little sub chats that you can talk to people about what it's like in each course, or just if you're having challenges as a distance learner. We want you to be able to connect with other students, but also rely on your D2L discussion page, also the class list to reach out to each other. And if there's any ideas you have about ways that we can give you further access to each other, or to make that experience more profound for you, please let us know. I will be saying that you also get a link that will give you an invitation to the Discord, so that we can make sure you get access to that. Okay, now I know we're 7 minutes over, but we're still going to take questions if you have them, or anything that Dr. Koshel or that Mark want to add to what we've talked about.
Did all of you get a information about the Discord?
If not, you will as part of my follow-up email.
Because that should have come if you are a new student.
And I believe it would have come via email, but I think it's probably
Yeah,
good to get
email.
Gretchen just to resend it to everyone
Yep,
in
I
case
did
someone was
yeah.
missed.
And the link to the invitation links, I think they're only good for like 7 days. So
Oh, okay.
if you click on it and it's expired, just send me an email and I'll get you a new one. Oh, good. Good. Any questions? I know this was a lot of information, a little bit of drinking from the fire hose for the first time, but I feel like I say this all the time, but it's because I really want students to know that they really can reach out to me for anything. If you need me to run interference with a professor, if you need me to, you know, track down a form, a piece of information, something that you need advising on, we'll make sure you get where you need to go. Yeah. Questions?
And I'll just add,
Yeah.
you know, as Gretchen mentioned, we're going to be hosting something like this once a month. So please do participate. We hope that it's useful for you. And if you have any suggestions for future topics for these meetings, or just things you'd like to see in the program in general, let us know. You know, we are definitely open to making changes and improving the program as much as possible. As Gretchen mentioned, we're trying to incorporate and make online participation in as many events as possible, including the Industrial Affiliates Workshop, which is October 6th through 8th. So you're going to get a lot of emails from us, not only John, Gretchen, and myself, but also Jeannie and others in the group, regarding everything from special events to funding opportunities, research talks, research opportunities. So a lot's going to be coming your way. Just take the time to at least kind of glaze over those emails, find out which ones are pertinent to you. We hope that whatever we send you is important or helpful. But yeah, don't be shy and feel free to reach out and let us know if there's any way we can help or anything you can benefit from that we're not doing, already. So.
We have had distance students who have really just wanted to come to campus just to meet everybody in person or have to come meet with their advisor or whatever. If you come to Tucson and you need anything as far as, helping you set up, getting access to professors or whatever you need, or you want us to tell you where to go eat, that's really good, or where to stay, we're happy to help with anything like that. Or show you, how to get around campus or whatever you need. We're here for you for that resource as well. All right. Anything else, Mr. Koschel, Dr., Mr., Sir? All right. Well, keep an eye out for links to both this recording as well as to our orientation that we did in person this week. I'll also send you all the links that we talked about in this presentation so that you have all of that, and let us know if there's anything you need. Go Cats.